1 p.m. Saturday to 10 p.m. Sunday, with a little bit of break for some sleep, I guess. Okay, thanks, Kyle, for checking in tonight and for your announcement. All right, very good. Thank you to all of our short time calls today. And now, next on our agenda, let's get your brain off standby and review questions from the FCC current general exam. Technicians and generals alike, let's review. And tonight, I'd like to ask Ernesto, KI5PZN, if he could please read our questions for tonight.
All right, this is KI5PZN with the general question for tonight. First one I'm going to grab here is according to the National Electrical Code, what is the minimum wire size that might be used safely for wiring with 20 amp circuit breaker? Alpha is AWG number 20. Bravo is AWG number 16. Charlie is AWG number 12. And Delta is AWG number 8. If you know the answer, come in with your call time. All right, well, nothing heard on that one. The answer for that one is the Charlie. AWG number 12 is the wiring for the 20 amp circuit breaker. All right, let's do another one of the same family. Which size of fuse or circuit breaker would be appropriate to use with the circuit that uses AWG number 14 wiring? I'm going to read it again. Which size of fuse or circuit breaker will be appropriate to use with the circuit that uses AWG number 14 wiring? The answers are Alpha, it's 100 amp. Bravo, 60 amp. Charlie, 30 amps. And Delta, 15 amps. If you know the answer, come in with your call time.
This is KA5D.
Kyle, what's your answer?
Well, I normally don't answer
carrier, but I didn't hear a voice.
I usually let the technicians get a stab at it, but I'll say it's the last one.
All right, we got Delta for Kyle. Anybody else wants to give it a shot?
This is KG5NTK, Kilo 5, November Tango Kilo with Bravo.
We got November Tango Kilo with Bravo. Anybody else wants to give it a shot?
KG5KVJ.
Hey, come in.
I'm going to go with Delta.
Got Garrett with Delta. Anybody else?
This is Kilo India 5, Uniform Kilo Foxtrot.
AF.
I'm going to go with Charlie, and I passed the general exam by exactly one question, so that probably carries a lot of weight.
All right, thanks for your answer. Anybody else want to give it a shot? All right, well, thank you for playing. The answer on this one is delta. It's the 15 amps, I guess. Thanks again for playing. This is KI5PZN. Back to net control.
Thanks, Ernesto, for helping us realize that we better get to studying. All right, good job. Time for a break and our station ID. In case you've just joined us, this is the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here on the N5 OAK repeater. Be sure your tone is set to 114.8. My name is Maria, call sign KI5SYX, and I am your hostess for tonight. Next on the agenda, time to get caught up on what's happening in Radio Ham News. Joining us tonight for the very first time, we've got Steve, KI5UKS, with his debut with Net News participation. Take it away, Steve.
Good evening and welcome to the news. Tonight, as our headline, we have an Idaho ham charged with interference facing a record fine. We begin this breaking news from Idaho with an amateur radio operator facing a record fine of its kind from the Federal Communications Commission for what the agency said was a deliberate interference with aircraft battling a 1,000-acre wildfire. The agency's notice of apparent liability, issued June 8th, called the proposed $34,000 fine the largest known for this charge of endangering public safety. The, quote, Johnson Fire, end quote, raged last year near Elk River on National Forest land where the U.S. Forest Service and the Idaho Department of Lands were trying to contain it. According to the Radio World magazine, Jason Frawley, WA7CQ, told the FCC he was attempting to help the firefighters. The FCC statement, however, claims that the 8 unauthorized transmissions were received on government frequencies from someone who identified himself as ComTech. The FCC said Frawley holds 8 microwave licenses, 1 business radio license, and is the owner of a company called Leader Communications. According to the FCC, Frawley has said he was attempting to help by providing additional details to guide the firefighters. Next up in news, from Indiana comes a giant leap for newcomers. Carlos Phoenix, KD9OLN, spent 12 years as a skydiver in Indiana and 3 of those years as a skydiving ham on the air. He started jumping from a plane holding an HT, making 2-meter activations, and progressed later to a small mobile rig with more power. This year, however, Carlos landed, or rather he leaped, into operating parachute mobile on 10 meters, specifically 28.419 megahertz. He said his first attempt last month didn't work out because of a damaged speed line. Carlos more than made up for it on Friday, June 3rd, by jumping twice from 13,000 feet, calling CQ Parachute Mobile. Among those answering his call was someone taking a big leap of their own while keeping both feet of the ground, a technician, class operator, making his first-time contact on HF. Carlos said that's the whole point. He chose the 10-meter band to give the technicians a taste of HF and to encourage them to go forward to the next level. Next in news, Texas Emergency Response Group gets a grant from Equipment Upgrades. It's a welcome infusion of grant money, and it's going to make all the difference in the world for one Texas group of amateurs involved in Texas response. Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, tells us about his plans. He states, new radios, antennas, and related communication equipment are in the future for a Texas emergency response team with the help of $11,349 in Community Development Partnership Funds. The hams who volunteer with the Lee County Amateur Radio Service Emergency Services have operated since 2019, serving as a backup for the county during disasters. The amateur radio group will add $3,500 of its own funds with the goal of expanding the size of the area it serves and enhancing its operating resiliency. And finally, a promotion for the 2022 Youth on the Air Camp, which is occurring June 12th through 17th. This June 12th through 17th, the Youth on the Air Camp will be on the air and streaming online. The campers will be operating Special Event Station W8Y from the National Voice of America VOA Museum, broadcasting in Westchester Township, Ohio, as well as from their hotel. Activation of W8Y will begin on the evening Sunday, June 12th, and conclude on 1 p.m. Eastern District Time on Friday, June 17th. Campers will operate the station as they finish projects between camp sessions and during their free time. In addition, a dedicated HF station operating times will be on Monday, June the 13th from 2 to 11 p.m. EDT, and dedicated satellite station operating times will be Thursday, June 16th and Friday, June 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. EDT. The opening and closing ceremonies will be streamed live on Youth on the Air YouTube channel. The opening ceremony will take place on Sunday, June 12th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. EDT and will feature keynote speaker Dr. Nathaniel Frizzell. That's all we have in the news tonight. Back to Net Control. This is KI5 UKF.
Great job, Steve. Wonderful first participation on the net, and great job reading the news tonight. Wonderful. Applause, applause, applause. And, man, that parachute story is amazing. Talk about a unique CQ, parachute mobile. I don't think that many people are going to be able to ever call a CQ like that. Or maybe it'll catch on, I don't know, for the brave at heart. And having that technician catch him right when he's falling 13,000 feet in the air and having that be his first contact. Man, an amazing day for both of those ham operators. Cool story. Okay, let's see if there are any comments regarding the news tonight.
W5NDS.
Come on in, NDS. Rod, hello. Come on in.
Hello, Maria. Very good to hear you, and I want to thank Steve. They're very well read. Your mic gain was a little high, but I was able to copy everything, and the tone on your radio there to the 114.8 tone is very audible on there, Steve. And you might look into that a little bit to see if you can turn the mic gain down a little bit. But very well done. A good reading style and very clearly presented. W5NDS.
Thank you, Rod, for that comment on Steve's news. Steve, any comments?
Thank you, Rod. I literally just got my general about 2 weeks ago and just got my radio last week, so I have not ever played with the mic gain, but we'll definitely look into that right now. Thanks a lot for the advice. I really appreciate it, and as well as the positive comments. KI5 UKF.
All in the spirit of ham radio, Steve, and congratulations on the general.
And next on the news segment, we have Jeffrey. Hopefully he's still with us. Jeffrey, what's up with Fox News tonight?
There was a bit of a double there on that last transmission, but I'll go ahead and run away with the Fox News. Yeah, so we had Philip, AC5G, hosting his first fox hunt this past weekend. He had just gotten a fox device and got it put out promptly on Friday. It appears that Mark in 5UMT found it first, followed by George, K5TR, and Matthew. And then KI5PZN, Ernesto, and Enrique found it. And then Paul, KA5SDU, and let's see, Georgine, KF5KLJ also found it. So congrats to all those people that found that fox last weekend. This weekend, Ernesto is hosting. He's going to set up a fox on Friday before he heads out of town. And it should be up all over the weekend. I think I'll be picking it up sometime on Monday, so that it can be placed out again the following weekend. But good fox hunt expected this weekend. Ernesto's usually got a pretty good tricky spot, so I'm looking forward to that. If you have questions about fox hunting, feel free to comment back after this, but the best way to do it is to hop on Discord and find our fox hunt channel. I'd be happy to answer any questions there. This is KI5MVF with the Fox News, and I'll hand it back to Maria.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for sticking around for your segment, Fox News, and foxes, foxes, foxes. Again, every weekend foxes. I guess everyone is very excited about the fox, and so let's keep it rolling. And Ernesto's fox is this weekend, and this past weekend was I think was a little bit tricky too. So I guess that's the point, right? Okay, so usually we have the club president, Rusty, close out our news segment, but he'll join us later on. So we'll move on, and hopefully Rusty can join us later and share some general club news and trivia news later on in our net. Time for another station ID. This is the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here on the N5OAK repeater. Be sure your tone is set to 114.8. My name is Maria, and my call sign is KI5SYX. All right, it's time for the main event. Regular check-ins. Any and all licensed club members and non-members are invited. So come on in. Comments, projects, topics, salutations, welcome. Now, if you need a little help, I, as usual, have my trusty bag of random questions. All right, I think I got a good one tonight. Tonight's random question of the night. On a hot summer day, what drinks did your parents have available for you at home when you were a kid to quench that thirst? And part two of the question, now that you're all grown up and can make your own choices, what is your favorite drink to quench your thirst on a steamy day? So that's our question of the day for a very, very hot 105-degree Austin evening. So answer it if you dare or not. We just want to hear from you. So come on in, regular check-ins. Let's get started.
This is KG5 KG5NTK, Kilo Golf 5, November Tango Kilo, Pete from South Austin.
This is W5NDS, North Central Austin.
This is Alpha Charlie 5 Golf, Philip East Austin. This is Kilo Golf Fife, Kilo Victor Juliet, KG5 KVJ Garrett and Utah.
All right, let's get started with our regular check-ins tonight. First up, we've got Pete, KG5NGK. Hi, Pete. What's going on tonight?
Yeah, this is Pete, KG5 November Tango Kilo from lovely South Austin. Anyway, I drank iced tea when I was a kid. That's what my mom always had for us kids on a hot day. Nowadays, I am a little more free-form. It doesn't always quench the thirst, but I drink cold beer. And so that's my answer to your question, Maria. And thanks for doing the net, by the way. And other than that, I'm just doing my general class study, and I got through the question pool now. I have failed 2 tests, but I'm working on it. My score is getting higher as I go along.
Pete, I think that I'm going to hear beer all night long. Man, yes. Cold beer on a very, very hot day. I think that's a lot of people's go-to, so totally understand. Now, that iced tea when you were a kid, was it very, very, very sweet?
It was moderately sweet. It wasn't always real sweet. A lot of times my mom used sweet and low, so it wasn't real sweet.
Oh, I thought I'd ask because personally, I grew up with a lot of sugar. Man, even healthy drinks were full of sugar. When I had my banana shake for breakfast, I don't know how much sugar was in there, but I know it was probably a lot. So, anyway, good. I'm glad that your mom was a little bit more careful than my mom. And congratulations on keeping with it on the general class studying. I know you're going to get it, and good job with that progress. Any comments for Pete? All right, nothing heard. Thank you for checking in tonight, Pete. Have a wonderful evening. All right, now let's move on to Rod, W5NDS. Hi, Rod. Come on in.
Okay, Mireya, Santo Dio. And first of all, I hope Steve is listening out there, UKF. When I first called in, I was on one of the North Austin link of Kyle's repeater system there on 441.675, and there's something in the linking. I switched over now to the flagship station 147.32, and I don't think you were overmodulating there, so it was being overdriven. And Pete, I just want to echo Mireya's comments that I know you'll pass that to General quite soon, and just keep on plugging away at it. I had to take my test 2 times, and not a lot else to report so far. I did work Slovenia on 17 meters sideband, and England on 17 meters CW. So that's it from here for the moment, Mireya. And back to you, W5NDS.
Thank you, Rod, and thanks for your comment to Steve. I know that it's a tricky thing. I personally still am struggling to understand, plugging into the repeaters and which one is, which number and which, frequency am I using and all of that. So I think Steve will appreciate that, because he was coming in very clear on our end. So thank you for saying that, and so that he can maybe think about, I don't know, his settings or which one he's using, etc. So and I'd like to know, actually, I'm very interested, what drinks did you have as a kid, particularly for a very warm day, but really any drinks? What were the drinks that you were offered as a kid when you had no choice?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that, Mireya. My mother frequently made lemonade. Lemonade from fresh lemons and sugar, made in a pitcher, and we'd eat supper out in the backyard. And that was mighty, mighty fine. And these days, I sometimes enjoy a Negro Modelo, and tonight I enjoyed some Prosecco along with my cheese and crackers. So that's the story from here. Back to you.
What a lovely image. I could totally see that, having dinner in the backyard with your family, having some cool, sweet, and tart lemonade. Man, that sounds like a dream. And your Modelo tonight also sounds like a dream, too. So thanks for answering those questions, and congrats on your connection to Slovenia and England by CW. Any comments for Rod?
KF5 UKF.
Come on in, UKF.
Hey, Rod, thanks for the update on the signal. I did drop my mic gain down from what the Yaesu has at, I think it was 60 or 65 down to 50. So just curious how you or anybody else is hearing me, and appreciate your comments on your drinks. The Prosecco sounds like a pretty good option right now. Back to you, Net, KF5 UKF.
Well, I hope to enjoy some with you at some point, Steve. And yes, your audio is crystal clear now. It sounds great. So stick with the new setting, I'd say, and you sound really good. W5NDS.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rod. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go on to Philip. AC5G. What's going on, Philip?
Good evening, Maria, and everyone else on the net, and thank you for running the net tonight. Real quick, I want to give a quick congratulations once more to all the people who participated in the fox hunt last weekend and found it. That'd be Mark, Matthew, or George, Ernesto, Enrique, Paul, and Georgine. So again, congratulations to all of you, and the Discord quite regularly, so feel free to post something on the fox hunt channel there. Let's take a quick breath. All right, but there's pretty much water or sun tea, and occasionally we'd make our own smoothies with some bananas, yogurts, ice, that kind of stuff. And now it is strictly Dr. Pepper for me. That's all I drink now. AC5G, back to net.
Thank you, Philip, for the shout-outs to the peeps that found your fox on the weekend. Man, your parents were probably looking out for the best for you. We get it, but come on, water? Let's get some sweetness in there. Form into adulthood habits. So I guess it's fine that you love water and all that, but okay, Dr. Pepper as an adult. Okay, that's a little bit of sweetness in your life. I like that. So good for you. And okay, so are there any comments for Philip? All right, nothing heard. Let's move on to Garrett. KG5KVJ. Hi, Garrett. What's going on? How are ya?
KG5KVJ. Maria, you crack me up. Appreciate you running the net. It's always, I can almost like see the hand like reaching through the screen of my radio, waving at me, saying, "Hey, welcome to the net." So yeah, I really appreciate everything you're doing. As for your question, I remember as a kid, I'll never forget that slug of orange juice concentrate that would come out of the freezer and then, flop down into a clear bucket, and then we'd mix it with some water and make, some orange juice or even Tang. I'm a 90s kid, so we eat all that stuff in Capri Sun. But nowadays, it's like you predicted, just beer for me. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
Talk about a visual for many, many of us with that pulling of that little wire that held that cylinder, the cardboard cylinder together, popping off that top. And then you're like struggling to get that very solid yet smushy yellow substance or orange substance into that container. And then when you actually put the water in there, it took forever to get that big ball of gunk to really disintegrate into the water and become one. And the smell too, man, the Tang smell, the smell of the powder when you opened the container and as you were scooping it into the water, and then that little fine mist of dust that would go around. You are bringing up totally some very vivid images for me, and I'm sure for other people, 80s kid, 90s kid, right here as well. So I can taste it. Thank you, Gary, for your participation and for that memory from our childhood. Any comments for Garrett? Okay, thank you, Gary, for your participation tonight. Man, you made me laugh. Now, you said I made you laugh. You made me laugh with that That's memory tang and the orange concentrate. Thank you for your participation tonight. Time for a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here on the N5 OAK repeater. Be sure your tone is set at 114.8. My name is Maria, and I am your hostess with the mostest, AI5SYX. Let's move on. Are there any more regular check-ins?
Alpha India 5, Oscar Sierra. Check.
This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Victor in Aurora, Colorado via All-Star.
This is AI. Checking in via All-Star, standing out in the parking lot on 9.
Okay, wonderful. I think we're hearing some radio ham operators from very, very far away. Very exciting. We've got some all-stars coming in to our net tonight. The first one we heard is Justin, AI5OS. Justin, can you hear us? Come on in. Welcome.
Hopefully y'all can hear me. Okay, it looks
like
I can hear it.
Yeah, come on in, Justin.
Test here from my note at my house. I've just walked down to a local brewery to enjoy a Wicked Tickle. So just thought I would check in here and say hello and see what's going on here. Anyway, not much new on the radio front this week, except I did manage to work Russia, R5, and been playing with my new old Yaesu Fox Lima 7000. Anyway, just wanted to check in one for the numbers, and this is AI5.
Hey, Justin, thank you for checking in while you're having fun at the brewery. That's cool. You have been dropping out a little bit towards the end where it's a little bit patchy, but I think we got the gist of what's going on with you. So you're at the brewery enjoying your adult beverage. So that's very cool and expected of an Austinite local brewery. Totally makes sense to quench that thirst on a summer night. We'll circle back because I want to know what your childhood drink was that you were forced to drink and not that you chose to drink like tonight. We did hear you saying that you you worked Russia, which is interesting. We'd love to know what you were using to get there. And your new radio, but we didn't catch what Yaesu it was because you're very patchy. So let's see if we can get you again.
Okay, yeah. So, what TS 2000 Lima 7000 and a Cushcraft R7000. Got it. Okay, and let's see, the childhood drink that I was forced to drink that I absolutely could not stand and still cannot stand to this day, is Cherry Coke. That is Coke and Big Red. Those are
Justin, we heard about half of that connection. You're still dropping at the end, but we didn't hear your radio. That's okay. We didn't hear how you connected with Russia. I think you said it, but we couldn't hear it. But what we did hear was that you had Cherry Coke and Big Red as a kid. And that's also a little bit unusual to have that as your childhood drink. I guess your moms and dads or whoever was at home had that in the fridge, maybe for them, and you drank some? I don't know. That's probably what was going on there. But okay, any comments for Justin? Hopefully he can hear us. Come on in.
I suspect y'all can hear me better than I can hear you. I think this is a case of my Motorola radio TT. Something's going on weird with it. So, sorry about that.
Roger that. No problem. Yeah, so it's dropping towards the end of your sentences, just FYI. Thank you, Justin, for checking in tonight. Hopefully you keep enjoying this nice, hot evening, but seems like you're doing A-okay. Thanks for checking in tonight.
Time. Thank you all. And have a good one. This is AI5OS, and back to nets.
Okay, now we're going all the way to Aurora, Colorado via AllStar. We heard W5KB. Come on in.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for the warm welcome there. Name is Johnny, and yeah, I think this is the first time I've checked in since I've moved away from Austin, but great to hear everybody on the net tonight, and it's wonderful to hear so many new call signs. Then again, I've been off the air for quite a while. Let's see, childhood drinks, I would have to say would be, I'm an 80s baby, so it would be High C and Kool-Aid, and now you probably got another vote for a nice ice cold beer, but yeah, those were my drink choices. Love the question, great idea, and again, great to hear everybody on. Back to net control. This is W5KB.
Johnny, we are all jealous over here. Relocation from Austin, now you're in Colorado. I dare to guess that today was not 105 in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, I think the high was I think 82 degrees today. Humidity was about 40%, and we were complaining the fact that we actually had to turn our AC on today because it got a little warm. But yeah, sorry about the weather down there for you guys. I'm really feeling it. Hope y'all stay cool and drink a cool one and take a dip.
Oh, yes. Everyone's hating on you right now. Okay, Johnny, High C, yes, totally. High C, I totally forgot about that one. I was around in the 80s and 90s, too, and High C was definitely a go-to. Kool-Aid, man, a classic, totally. Doesn't matter what kind of parents you had. I think everybody had Kool-Aid when they were a kid. And my experience was not from the tub with the measuring cup. We had the fancy little envelopes that had the pre-measured amount for the quantity to mix, and so that's what I grew up with. And we went to the grocery, and I grabbed a bunch of those envelopes, and I knew I was going to have my delicious Kool-Aid for the week. So thank you for that warm childhood memory. I guess I had a lot of sugar when I was a kid. I don't know what that says about me now, but anyway. Okay, all the way from Aurora, Colorado, ex-Austinite Johnny. Any comments for him?
KG5KVJ.
Come on in, Garrett.
I mean, I guess because Maria's like spurring up all these old childhood memories. Yeah, Maria, I remember those little packets of Kool-Aid you'd get, and I liked them so much. I would just open them up and just eat them, you know, as the sugar that they were. Also, wasn't there like some juice packs, and then also Hawaiian Punch? KG5KVJ back to that.
Garrett, yes. When you sucked on that packet, it was so rough to swallow that, man. It it turned into this like ball of grainy sand. Yes, I tried it. It was all over your fingers. It took forever to have that red or whatever color you had to get off of there. You washed your hands and it was still there. Yes, I totally remember that, and I had not remembered it until this moment. And of course, Hawaiian Punch. Yes, those magical bags with the aluminum. But man, it was hard for me as a kid to poke the straw through the hole. I know I'm not the only one, but yes, very good memories, and I loved all of the flavors that they came out with, all those funky combinations of combined fruits. Thank you for those warm memories, Garrett. Any comments for Garrett or Johnny?
KI5UKF.
Come on in, Steve.
Just wondering whether Garrett or Johnny or if anybody else remembers the pre-sugar containing Kool-Aid, where I was a kid sort of in the 70s and then early 80s, and I can remember when Kool-Aid didn't have any sugar in it, so you got the packets of the powder that just had the flavoring in it, then you had to add your own sugar. So just kind of curious whether anybody else remembers that. Cat5UKF, back to that.
KG5UNK.
Doug, come on in.
Yes, I remember those. That's why I couldn't figure out how anyone was eating them straight out of the package. Because when I was a kid, they did not contain any sugar, and they were very, very bitter. It was really nasty trying to eat the powder without that. So I don't even remember a time when sugar was included. KG5UNK, back to net.
5PZN.
Come on in, Ernesto.
Doug, I'm with you there. I'm from the 70s, and I remember that they would prepare those quote juices, and then your parents would put like half of the sugar bag in that thing to, I guess, keep us happy. And the other one that I remember was on the Hawaiian Punch. The one that I remember drinking was from a can. This is before those little pouches. And I remember you drank that thing and your throat was like scratchy after drinking it. And we like that. Back to net control. KI5PZN.
Oh, goodness. All these stories about childhood drinks, I don't know how healthy this is sounding. This is sounding a little bit torturous, this last one, and not very healthy or anything that today's parents would find acceptable. But, okay, thank you for all those memories, everyone. Any final comments for, actually, our last caller was Johnny, K5W5KB.
KG5NTK.
Come on in, NTK.
Yeah, I remember those 1970s Kool-Aid packets without sugar, and sometimes you would get Kool-Aid that didn't have a whole lot of sugar, and it was fruity, but it didn't have a whole lot of sugar to it.
Well, Pete, Doug, and Ernesto, I guess times changed. Welcome to the 80s. All right, time for another Station ID. This is the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here on the N5 OAK repeater. Be sure your tone is set to 114.8. My name is Maria, your hostess for tonight, AI5SYX. All right, let's see. Are there more regular check-ins tonight? Let's hear them.
KG5 UNK.
AF5 KBZ Mike in Dripping Springs.
This is KG5 NAG Cedar Park.
Okay, we've got KG5 UNK. Doug, come on in. Again.
Well, I thought I should at least check in since I jumped in on that conversation. Oh, not much going on here. Hanging out with the niece. Her mama's working in town this week, and so she's been hanging out with us for a couple of days. So that's about it. We've been running around town, doing some driving lessons and finding geocaches. KG5 UNK, back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Doug, for officially checking in. We've got you down on our list. And niece and driving and geocaching, yes, or caching, I think that's what they call it. No wonder you like fox hunting. I'm sure that's very similar to your geocache. And I know that that's kind of like a modern scavenger hunt type thing. And it's cool that your niece is getting in on that. Hopefully she's enjoying it. And driving lessons, man, is that voluntary, or did someone say, hey, show my niece how to drive? That must be an experience.
Well, it kind of started when she was probably about 4 years old, and she got to control the, steer the golf cart, and it's led from there. So, yeah, I've kind of become the official driver's ed instructor. But that's okay, because we work okay together.
You sound like the cool uncle, Doug. Man, that's cool. All right. Any comments for Doug tonight? Okay, nothing heard. I hope that your niece actually gets to see some of your projects at your house. I know that you shared some with us at the brunch hunt, some pictures of your projects that were beautiful and delicate and complicated. And anyway, I'm sure that she finds you very interesting with all the stuff you have going on and your projects. So I hope you're having a great time with your niece. Have a great end of the week, Doug, and a great weekend.
All righty, Maria. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, we definitely have a good time together. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll catch you next time. KG5UNK back to net.
Thanks, Doug. Okay, let's move on to Mike. And so sorry, regrettably, I did not catch your call sign. Mike, come on in and give us your call sign, please.
Good evening. It's Mike in Dripping Springs, Kilo Foxtrot 5, Kilo Bravo Zulu, and just checking in for the numbers. And let's see, I grew up in the 70s. Milk was the big thing that my mother made us drink every night. So milk was one of those things that we always had every night. And then cola, whether it was Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, or ours, Royal Crown Cola, was always a staple in our just when we had sweets and things like that. But also, I grew up in Massachusetts on Cape Cod, and cranberry juice was a big thing. So that was, we always had cranberry juice in the refrigerator. So that was, we didn't have Kool-Aid, we didn't have High C, it was always cranberry juice. So that's sort of what I grew up on. But anyway, just wanted to check in. I haven't checked in for a while, but I've been on the road a lot, and glad to be checking back in. This is KF5KBZ, Mike in Dripping Springs, back to that.
Thanks for checking in, Mike. So glad that your travels have been safe and that you're back home and joining us tonight. Wonderful to hear you. Cranberry juice, yeah, that's, I don't know, I think that might be an acquired taste for kids generally, but maybe not kids in Massachusetts. Maybe as an adult, you enjoy it with an adult mixture there. I've had that before, and I do enjoy that. And yeah, old school milk. You forget that that is probably the staple drink that most parents would like you to drink as a kid. So not surprising. And old school RC, yeah, totally. I don't know if this happens to you, but I used to enjoy those sweet drinks when I was younger. Maybe not provided by my parents, but definitely I got a hold of them. Now that as I'm older, I find them terribly, terribly sweet. So not my favorite drink by far. So thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight. Are there any comments for Mike? All right. Thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, now next on our list, we've got KG5NAG, Cedar Park. Come on in.
Yes, this is Kilo Golf 5, November Alpha Golf. Renee in Cedar Park. Been a long-time listener, first-time caller, finding it on the net tonight. I was just trying to see if I could hit the repeater from Cedar Park with a 5-watt base station with a diamond dual band antenna on top of my HOA restricted roof. So I was able to hear it online on the rebroadcast, so it sounded pretty clear, so I hope it is coming pretty clear. And I'm pretty happy that I was able to hit it with just 5 watts. So I appreciate the net tonight to kind of test that out. As far as drinks are concerned, I grew up, I haven't heard it tonight, but I'm sure some of you remembers Tang back in the day. We thought it was cool because all the astronauts were drinking it, or so we thought. So that was what we did on hot nights in Corpus Christi growing up. And now I just really like regular iced tea with lots of varying amounts of sugar in it. So again, appreciate it. This is Renee, Kilo Golf 5, November Alpha Golf in Cedar Park.
Wonderful, Renee. Thank you for joining us tonight for the first time. And by the way, crystal clear. I heard everything and no static. It's wonderful. 5 watts band. Very, very, very clear to the flagship. So wonderful. And Tang, a classic, of course. I think someone mentioned it earlier, but yeah, Tang, a good one. And yeah, astronauts drinking it. Of course kids are going to want to drink it. I wonder, though, did your mom mix it correctly? In other words, did she follow the instructions, or did she put way too much water in it, maybe to make it last, or maybe because she just wanted to make it less tangy? I don't know. Was it actually mixed correctly, or was it watered down?
This is KG5NAG. It was watered down. We had 5 of us in the family, 4 boys and 1 girl growing up, so we had to make that little jar last as long as we could during the summer. So it was definitely watery, and if we got our hands on it, we definitely made it too thick where we had lots of powder at the bottom. But that was a bonus because you could always add more water and have another drink. Back to that.
I am so glad you said that. Yes, totally. You have to make that last if there are multiple people in the house. That is exactly what moms and dads would do. Make it last, water it down a little bit, and you'll enjoy it longer, if not it is intended potency, but definitely you'll have tang for a longer amount of time. And glad you sneak that in a little bit here and there. Thank you, Renee, for checking in and for testing your connection with us. Any comments for Renee and his connection to the flagship tonight?
KI5 UKF.
Come on in, Steve.
Hey, Renee. Also, like Maria, I'm hearing every word you say very, very clearly. Maybe a slight, I'm definitely no expert on monitoring radio signals yet, but maybe a slight buzz or fuzz compared to some of the other close speakers, but really amazing 5 watts coming from Cedar Park. That diamond antenna is definitely doing its work for you, and so very good signal report from here. Thank you. KF5 UKF, back to net.
KG5NAG. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm kind of hearing a little buzzing on this end. I probably need to test out my connectors. It was the first time putting those together on this LMR 400 that I'm using. I have about 60 feet of cable. It was a little overkill, but I bought it about 5 years ago and finally put it up over the weekend. So I think maybe I'm not grounded out completely, so I'll probably have to get a multimeter out and try to test that out and see if I can track that down and make sure everything's grounded correctly. But I appreciate the report. KG5NAG, back to net.
Good deal. Thank you guys for your participation tonight. I think it might be a good time for another station ID. This is the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here on N5OAK. My name is Maria, KI5SYX. Okay, let's move on. Are there more regular check-ins for tonight's net?
This is KI5 UKF. Maria, just wanted to make sure I was on your log.
Yes, Steve, you are on our log, KI5 UKF.
KI5PZN. Before I start with the weekly net, I just want to remind everybody about the fox hunt for this weekend. I am planning on planting that fox on actually tomorrow. Oh my God, this week just flew by. Tomorrow at around noon, but I'll post a picture of the map, and it's going to be a smaller map. I know gas prices are very high, so I'm making that map a lot smaller. But I will post that tomorrow around noon, and then it will be on and I think Jeffrey will pick it up, like he said, on Monday morning. Let me let this reset for a second. All right, and this is a list of 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. on Monday. On Tuesday, the Southside Simplex hosted by Ray, K5BZI, and that's on 146.555 megahertz p.m. Also at 8 p.m., there's the DMR Soundcheck Net hosted by George, W5JDX, and Tommy, N5ZNO. That's on the 441. Wednesday Net hosted by Kyle, KA5D, and me, Ernesto, KI5PZN, during the summer. That's on 441.325 megahertz at 8 p.m. 441.325 megahertz at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. On Thursday night, we have the CWNet hosted by Pat, W5WTH, and you will find them on 3.532 megahertz at 7:30. That's 3.532 megahertz at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night, just before this net. And any skill level operator is welcome. You don't have to be a pro to get there. I'm still working on learning the alphabet, but I'll join you guys one of these days soon. And at 8 p.m. we have the Oak Hill Thursday night net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5A repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 8 p.m. On Friday night, we have the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5A repeater system and the University Link repeater system. That's at 9 p.m. On Saturdays at 7 p.m., we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW. That's on the 146.940 megahertz at 7 p.m. And at 9 p.m., there's the 220 megahertz guys original preservation net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ, and that's on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. on the 224.100 megahertz at 9 p.m. on Saturdays. On Sunday, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net, hosted by Rod, W5NDS, and that's on the 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m. 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m. At 7 p.m., we have the Travis County Area's Weekly Net, and that's on the 147.360 repeater at 7 p.m. At 7:30 p.m., we have the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by me, KI5PZN, and Mireya, KI5SYX, on the University Link repeater system at 7:30 p.m. At 9 p.m., you'll have the Austin Amateur Radio Club SWAT Net, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW. That's on the 146.940 megahertz at 9 p.m. And that's it for the local nets. Back to Net Controls, KI5PZN.
Thank you, Ernesto, for reading our club's very busy weekly itinerary. It is so nice to be part of a club that has so much going on. I know that this is a very active club, and many people have commented about it, so I'm thankful about being here in Austin and being part of this club. But we also invite everybody to come on in and chat with us on any of the given nets throughout the week from all over the world. Technology makes it possible, so hopefully we make our community even bigger than Central Texas. Okay, calling out for the very last regular check-ins of the night. Anybody else out there? Let's hear you.
WZ5 BBS Mobile.
Talk about the 11th hour, man. BBS. We've been waiting for you. Well, I have anyway. Rusty, I have been reserving a little bit of time for you tonight to give us some news. I know you've got something to say. You're checking in for some reason, but I know you've got some news too. So let's go back in time and pretend it's the news section. Here's Rusty, KI5 BBS with, W5 BBS with the news for our club.
This is KI5 BBS, and I just got done with dinner with my brother and family. So my news is going to be pretty short. I'm meeting up with Bill, W5SMO, for a little fun over at Rod's house on Saturday morning. And I've been playing a little radio, doing a little of the Slacker chat during the drive time during the week. And other than that, that's about it. And I'm looking forward to the Trivia Net tomorrow. Ought to be entertaining, to say the least. So I'm glad. I thought I missed it with the weekend wrap up, man. I was worried that I missed the net. So thank you for calling out one last time, and hopefully we got some more people out there. But this is K5Z BBS, and I'll turn it back to net control. Thanks for running the net, Medea. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rusty, for checking in. And actually, I don't know if you know, we've got our question of the night, which we'd love for you to answer. So, in a hot summer day, moms and dads have certain drinks available for kids to cool off. So tell us what your drink was as a kid that was available to you at home. And now that you're all grown up, how has that evolved, and what do you actually choose to cool off on a hot, steamy day?
Well, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so our beverage of choice was water out of the hose, and that's what we used to cool ourselves off. And since I have grown up, and well, at least let's just say I've gotten older. I haven't grown up yet, but I have turned that into nice ice cold beer. That's definitely the thing to cool me off. So I drink bourbon in the winter to help keep me warm. And there's nothing like a good Tecate with a lime, or Modelo Especial with a lime, something like that. Man, I can drink it like water. So water from the hose and a good old iced frosty beer.
Oh, Rusty, we had water before earlier this evening, but you capped it off with from the hose. Wonderful, yes, a great visual on that one. Hopefully there wasn't a lot of dirt on the end of that hose, and you were able to enjoy a clear drink of water when you were a kid. And Tecate, yes, totally. That beer, I don't know if it's an acquired taste or what, but man, I love Tecate, and I think that because we dressed it up with lime, a lot of lime and salt, maybe that's why I love it so much too. Yeah, beer definitely repeated many, many, many times in tonight's net as the adult beverage of choice for a very, very hot day. So thank you for your contribution tonight, Rusty, and looking forward to hearing you tomorrow night at the very anticipated Trivia Night net. Okay, last chance for regular check-ins before we wrap it up.
W5NDS.
Come on in, Rod.
Thank you, Medea. And Rusty, I just wanted to suggest if either you or Bill have binoculars, you might want to bring a pair along, and I guess Bill will bring his little device there, whatever, Rigmaster or whatever it's called. So looking forward to seeing you Saturday morning, W5NDS.
Roger, Rod. I'll see if Bill has any binoculars, but yeah, he's got a rig expert, and we are planning on meeting at your house at 10 a.m. as requested on Saturday morning. I am looking forward to it, my friend.
QSL, we'll see you then.
Thank you guys for checking in and connecting for Saturday's big morning at Rod's house. Good luck to you guys with that big project. Okay, we've got KI5, PZN, Ernesto checking in.
I got checked in by Mireya. All right, that's awesome. Hello, everybody on the net, and thank you for participating. It's been fun listening to all of you guys. Just wanted to share the youth part. Growing up, I grew up in Puerto Rico, and kind of like rusty out in the middle of nowhere, back in the 70s for me. Since it's a tropical island, there's fruits everywhere. So basically, our fruit for the day or the week was whatever my dad would show up with, whatever fruit he would show up with. For those days, my mom would just make some juice, and of course, they were just covered in sugar, but I don't know why, but I guess we were kids and we needed more sugar to misbehave. But that was our drink for us. It's usually just stuff that my dad will find, just fruits, random fruits from everywhere. Nowadays, I really enjoy seltzer water. I know it's kind of boring, but seltzer water actually works when it's really hot and I'm really thirsty. That's it for me. You guys have a good weekend and stay cool. Back to net control. This is KI5PZN.
Thank you, Ernesto, for sharing that childhood memory. And I don't know if many people can say that they grew up with just fruits from the land right there in their neighborhood, drinking juices from just fruits that fell from plants outside of your door. So, jealous. Okay, so let's get the final count for tonight. Ernesto, how many stations participated in tonight's net?
I have 17 in my log.
Okay, 17 participants tonight. Great job, everybody. And we hope that you have a wonderful remaining of your night and a very nice weekend. I hear that Sunday is going to be 107 degrees, so please keep safe. Drink a lot of very, very chill beer. Maybe get ready and put them in the cooler now with ice and just keep them iced up for Sunday because it's going to be a scorcher. Okay, thank you for joining us for the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, a service of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N50AK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for the net. We're a non-profit based in Austin. For more information, please visit n50ak.org, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list, or make a donation to support the continued growth of amateur radio in Central Texas. Big shout out to Kyle, KA5D, for linking the University Link repeater system to this net. This has been Mireya, KI5SYX in East Austin, 73, and thanks again for participating and listening tonight. This system is now returning to regular amateur use.
This is W5NDS with a final note, Mireya, and for Ernesto. When I was a young man, I lived in India for various periods, and the favorite drink to cool off in India is coconut water. They cut a young coconut from the tree and lop off the top, and you drink the water. It's not like the coconut milk that you buy in the grocery store here. It's a thinner liquid, but it's very refreshing. And that memory just floated into me. I had to share it with y'all. W5NDS 73.
Yes, Rod, that does sound refreshing, and you're right. It's nothing like what you buy at the store when you have in my case, have someone open the coconut. I regrettably don't know how to do it, but it is a very naturally refreshing. It does not have to be iced. It's just somehow invigorating right when you're drinking it. It tastes like a coconut, of course, but it's this, I don't know how you say it, just a refreshing drink, even if it's room temperature, but it's somehow cool anyway. I don't know how that works. We were just in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, and we had some, and that experience is very fresh in my mind. And in India, having coconuts, I don't know if I think of coconuts in India together, but I guess that's true. So it is in the tropics. So thank you for sharing that, and I guess you were also, like Ernesto, having that opportunity to drink the fruits of the land so close to you and so available. So I'm glad that you shared that with us. Thanks, Rod.
Seven 3.